Welcome back to News Talk. Time now for our Friday Focus on You. This time, we look at office life issues. Joining us now is our workplace guru, Mary Abijay. Mary is head of the Careerstone Group. She joins us every month at this time. It is great to have you back.
Happy October.
Happy October. It's been too long.
I know.
You are really busy.
I'm busy.
It's because you're so popular.
Well.
Good to have you back. We want to focus this time on the importance of mentoring in the office. And obviously, there are two tracks there.
Yeah.
There's being a mentor and there's having one.
That's right.
Let's do the second first.
Having one. All right.
That's something. Is that something you have to create yourself? If you're not fortunate enough to have someone who's like a supervisor type or a little older, more experienced, whatever. If you don't have someone come to you and say, hey, if you'd like some help with career issues or work stuff, whatever, then it's on you to go find that person.
That's exactly right. So more and more organizations are doing formal mentoring programs because they have found that it really increases productivity, knowledge transfer, helps raise up rising leaders. But not all organizations do that. So if your organization does have a program, definitely sign up for it. If it doesn't, it really is incumbent on you to go find that mentor. A mentor can really help you polish up your professional skills. They can help you set goals. They can be that sounding board, that person that says, don't ever do that again, try it this way. You want to look for a mentor that's either proficient in your industry, your profession, or your organization, which is separate than a coach who doesn't need to have organizational knowledge because they're helping you grow and learn. A mentor is a trusted advisor that knows something about where you want to go.
More likely to be someone under the roof of where you work, or more likely not to be?
It could be either. They're going to either be under the roof of where you work, or they're going to be in your professional field. So for example, if you ever need a mentor, you could choose somebody here at the station, or you could choose another seasoned reporter anchor that can help you think about how to grow your career.
Then there's mentoring.
Then there's being a mentor, right? So being a mentor is a really great thing to do. So to be a good, everyone should mentor. If you have a little bit of experience or knowledge, you really do owe it to your organization or your profession to give back. And mentoring can be very rewarding. And good mentors need to do a couple of things. They need to be ready to give time. They need to be gracious. They need to really be able to focus on helping their mentee or protege, whichever term you prefer, really help and grow. I mean, they are there for the other person.
I remember my cousin using the term "my rabbi," talking about someone at work who was his rabbi. We're talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah, and so in order to build a good relationship, a couple things.
It's your go-to.
It's your go-to. It's that person that you trust. It's that person that's going to give you the real advice. The person who's going to keep your stuff confidential, and the person that's going to look out for you. And there's some key things that one needs to think about in order to create a really solid mentoring relationship.
Talk about that.
All right, I will tell you what they are. First of all, you have to be clear that it's a mentoring relationship. Whether it's formal or informal or situational, you want to really be open to each other, and you want to make time for each other. You want to build both the personal relationship, like we've got to have to know each other as people, but you have to really be responsive to each other. So if you're a mentee or a protege, and you make appointments with your mentor, make sure you show up for those appointments, right? Make sure you're on time, and make sure you actually listen to the advice of your mentor. There's nothing worse than being an advice giver and having the person just be like, oh, sure, that sounds great, and then the next time you meet, they've done nothing.
If you're lucky, your supervisor is someone you get along with and you have a good relationship, and maybe you can talk about things in sort of an off-the-record capacity, but I'll bet it's unusual for your mentor to be your supervisor or for a boss type, mid-level or upper-level, whatever, to have as a mentee, they're one of their direct reports. Yeah, it's a very complicated situation. So this, which is not to say that supervisors shouldn't play a mentoring role, if you will, as part of their role of being supervisor. But it is But at the end of the day, your supervisor is your supervisor, and there are certain things you may not want to talk about with your supervisor, and it can make the relationship kind of fraught if at times the supervisor has to put down the hammer on you for something. So supervisors should play a mentoring kind of role, but it is really useful to have a mentor that's separate than your supervisor. There's been so much talk of late about millennials in the workplace. I think they're the largest group in the workplace now. When I think of millennials, I think of people who would really welcome and invite having someone to guide them and be a sounding board and all the things you've referenced here so far.
The millennial generation is one of the reasons why mentoring is becoming so popular in the workplace, for a couple of reasons. One is that boomers are moving out. There's not enough of my generation X to fill the void. And the second reason is, for example, what you said, Gen Y millennials really respond well to mentoring and coaching. They love it. And in fact, I will say this, not only do they respond well to being mentored, that's the kind of supervisory positioning they like, they also make good mentors themselves. So we are seeing a lot of what we call reverse mentoring in the workplace, where you'll have senior people mentoring the younger people on basic professional stuff, but the younger people will mentor the senior people in areas of like technology and things like that, and that makes a great relationship. So this is the first time we've seen a really good back and forth.
I can imagine. We live in an era and a time of oversharing. Are there things that, even in the context of what you perceive to be a really strong mentor-mentee relationship, some things you just don't say?
Yeah.
Save that for happy hour. When
for your real rabbi.
For your real rabbi. Save that for friends.
Yeah.
Roommates, whomever.
And I think that's right. I mean, I think if it's a professional mentoring relationship, you're going to talk about yourself as a person, but you do want to be careful how personal you get. And you want to, when you start a mentoring relationship, is do what we call design the alliance, and really kind of set boundaries around what this relationship is for and the best use of the mentoring relationship. Because the best use may not be talking about what I dreamed about last night or what happened at the bar last night.
If somebody comes to you at work and says, you know, I'm thinking about how to position myself for my career down the road, my next job, growing my skills, learning how to deal with negotiation situations, and you don't know, you know, you're like flattered, okay, someone thinks I know something.
Which, by the way, that's the exact right reason to use a mentor, but go ahead.
But you don't really feel like, you know, let's say you've never done it before, so it feels a little new. What do you do? Are there resources?
First of all, you say yes. If you have experience, give it back. Secondly, there are resources. You can look, go online. There's lots of like basic mentoring, like steps and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's just about a conversation between two people. So if you're a first-time mentor, all they really want for you is for you to share your experience, where you failed, where you succeeded, what you've learned about what they're asking. You don't have to have all the answers. You are bringing your perspective and your experience, and that's what mentees really value.
And sometimes just having the ability to talk about things that are going on is huge, even if there's no ginormous pearls of wisdom that come across the table.
That's right, and you'd be surprised when you start talking about your experience how much you have learned. I don't think a lot of people realize the level of their experience. Even 10 years in the workforce, you have learned a lot.
Recent retirees strike me as being a great potential resource too, because they have had decades probably of experience. They've come up from the beginning to some other stage on the ladder, and they have the perspective of no longer being in the day-to-day.
That's exactly right, and I think for anyone who's doing that, you always want to come from your experience. You may not have all the answers. You should never pretend to have all the answers, but recent retirees would be beautiful. They've seen that. They've done it. The whole world recycles around. There's nothing they haven't seen in the workplace.
Mary Abijay is with the CareerStone Group. She's our workplace guru. She's with us every month at this time as part of our Friday Focus on You. Great to have you here. Are you a mentee? Are you a mentor?
I am.
And have you had mentors?
I have not had a formal mentor, but I'm still looking for one. Maybe you'll be my formal mentor.
we can do it for each
other. Together. There you go.
And with that, we'll take a break. Mary, thank you so much. Back with the program right after this.